Hello, good people. Spot of Nerd here with an episode that, quite frankly, I wanted to do, but I didn't want to do for obvious reasons. Because if you know me, if you follow me, social media stuff, we already know that this film was going to be bad. But holy crap, I did not realize it was going to be this bad. To celebrate the occasion, I'm wearing my motorcycle jacket, my Captain Murica motorcycle jacket. It's got Steve Rogers here somewhere. But let me be very, very clear here. Anthony Mackie is not Captain America. This movie should have never been made. This is just proof, genuine proof now, that Marvel, the MCU, is officially dead. And quite frankly, it's not even funny anymore to talk shit on these films. It's just really, really sad. Before we get started on talking about this atrocity, that's a word, I would love you guys so much. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down below. Give me a thumbs up. Give me your comments. I would love to know what your thoughts are, specifically if you have seen this film or you're gonna go see it and then you're gonna come back and watch this review. Obviously, I'm gonna spoil the film like it matters. Now, obviously, I provide those warnings, but just please, for the love of God, save your money, save your time, because holy shit. You want to talk about scraping the bottom of the barrel when it comes to storytelling and character development and everything else in between. This movie takes the cake. Captain America, Brave New World, or Captain America 4, whatever you want to call it, will go down in history as one of the greatest mishaps that I truly think Marvel Studios has ever produced, has ever written, has ever created. I'd also like to point out, yours truly, Spot of Nerd, was correct in my predictions in our recent few past episodes where I said, essentially, Marvel Studios writers and producers, they are so bored right now. They have absolutely zero creativity that they are simply taking movies in the past and they're simply saying in a writer's room, hey, we haven't used that in a while, as in like the Celestial, the one that sticks out of the Indian Ocean. Why don't we just write Captain America around that? This universe, this MCU, this whole live action series needs to stop. Now, albeit, we have future projects that are already coming out and are in development as we speak. You're going to get Thunderbolts later in the year, and you're also going to get the Fantastic Four. Coming back to this film, though, give you a little quick history lesson. Marvel, before there was an MCU, there was a Hulk movie. If you all remember, it came out in like the 90s or the early 2000s, where the CGI was, speaking of today's CGI, actually was better than it is today. And because Marvel is so desperate to try and bring in those older fans, those comic book heroes or movie review type people that really kind of, they hold on to those little Easter eggs, they decided to bring in Liv Tyler's Hulk era type thing, whatever you want to call it. It is a level of desperation I have never seen in a franchise before. No matter how much you polish a turd, it's still shit. They're trying to grab you in with, the MCU is going to potentially start introducing mutants, even though they already have. The way they're going to do this, obviously, is with, quote, adamantium. Now, all the nerds out there, get your socks out, as Deadpool would say, because adamantium equals Wolverine. So apparently Celestials had adamantium, and they, obviously, it's strong within vibranium, and yada yada yada. It is a desperation attempt from these Marvel Studio writers that goes beyond pathetic and sad. I actually really do feel bad, especially for, like, legacy characters, legacy actors like Harrison Ford. Why on God's green earth he signed up to do this film is beyond me. It really, really is. Not only the fact that he's like 900 years old now, why you would jump in on the MCU right now is beyond me. Like, I would love, if I got a chance to sit down with Harrison Ford right now, I would ask him one question and one question only. Are you broke? Do you need some money right now? Because you really have other better choices. You can even go watch him right now, Paramount Plus. He has the show 1923. It's a fucking amazing show. I'd recommend you go watch it. We'll do a review once I finish the first and second season. This is just like, wow, dude, you really thought this was a great script? What were you smoking? Now, the story. It's very, very simple. Apparently, Kanye, they thought this would be a great idea to incorporate some of his song into the story arc. And I'm being really sarcastic here because, you know, Kanye's Lights song, the one where it's like, flashing lights. Apparently, the bad guy, which you can look him up, he's a comic book character that absolutely nobody will know unless you've read the comics. He looks very similar to Kang from the Ninja Turtles.
As you wish.
Just how poor and disastrous they try to create him from a physical standpoint. Apparently he gives like these little speeches, these prologues to kind of manipulate people and, you know, get them to do his bidding. And when it all comes together, it's strobe lights. Flashing lights. That get people to do his doing, his bidding, to create havoc and destruction. Flashing lights. Strobe lights. Flashing lights. Flashing lights. Kanye would be pleased, I guess. Gonna step away from that one real quick. So sorry, I keep saying I'll get to the story, and the story. Ross, if you remember from Avengers Infinity War, was the one that created the Avengers Accords, which basically meant the government had control over the Avengers. Cap, Widow, Falcon, some others, Vision, they didn't like that. They don't want the government involved in the Avengers. The Avengers are there to basically fight the battles that humans cannot. It's very, very simple. It's very, very basic. Harrison Ford is now Ross. Ross is now President of the United States. Albeit, if you remember before though, Cap, Falcon, and Ross, they never got along together. They actually really, really hated each other. So what's going on in the world right now is the Celestial that's in the Indian Ocean. Everybody in the world has found it, and they're obviously doing their own research. Lo and behold, they found the adamantium. So apparently there's this huge treaty that's going to be signed to where everybody gets a piece of the pie. Mr. Bad, I'm just going to call him Mr. Krang from Ninja Turtles, steps in because he, of course, doesn't want that to happen. He doesn't want this treaty. He wants to create war, and everybody else gets involved in the mix. It's an involved story arc. The series on Disney Plus was boring as hell. They tried it. They tried it. It didn't really work. It fell apart. This movie is simply just a sequel to that series. So again, ultimately, they try and a fake assassination attempt on his life to create this havoc, to break this treaty. But then Captain America, the new one, aka Falcon, is trying to, he's getting involved. He's trying to figure out what this is, why this is all happening, why his friend is, he was set up because, of course, these strobe lights. Flashing lights. Got him to try to assassinate the president, blah, 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 blah. It's such a convoluted but boring ass story that even I kind of was like, probably paying more attention to my phone than I was the actual movie. But this is where it just gets really silly and really lazy in terms of the writing, because the first half of the entire film is simply them setting you up to there's a treaty, and then the last half of the film is apparently just the fight sequence, because you learn that Ross is the Red Hulk. You've seen it in the trailers. But the way he's become the Red Hulk is one of the dumbest ways possible that I can't even describe it to you here. All that I can simply tell you is it's so tragically portrayed from a visual standpoint, from the CGI, from the choreography to everything in between, that I don't have enough time on this video to share the level of pathetic, weak, soft, and sad that everything that this movie involves is. The last fight sequence, I keep broken record going back to the trailer where you see them fighting around a celestial. That CGI, holy crap. Again, I go back to that 1990s Hulk where we first got introduced to the Hulk, and there was Liv Tyler and blah 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 blah. That had better CGI than this film. It's embarrassing, Marvel. It is embarrassing to the point of you need to realize the CGI you're putting out right now is like, I imagine you're filming Mackie and the other characters, and you have a kid in the background that's literally got some crayons, and he's literally crayoning the background, and you're just putting that as your backdrop. It's seriously like, the kid with the crayon can probably do a better job. And then you get the story mixed in with it where, you know, you gotta love the fact of when they say, because of course Cap goes on his own because he's trying to, you know, the president now, Ross, says, hey, Cap, stay out of this. You know, he's like, but we got to go find out because I'm the Cap and blah, 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 blah. And I love it because the president's, you know, cabinet basically says, well, we don't know where Cap is because he left his cell phone at home. Even though he's driving around in a fucking concept car that's like, stands out like a sore fucking thumb, that likely has a GPS on it. Oh, let's not forget the fact that all of his gear is probably tracked via everything on the planet because it's nothing but technology. It's embarrassing, seriously. And it's like, again, the choreography, they're literally like a second behind each other. So, you know, if you go back and you watch the first 3 Captain America films, there are some amazing fight sequences. You can tell that, you know, albeit I'm not a fan of Chris Evans outside of the industry, I'm more of a fan of him as Captain America. He is and forever will be the greatest Captain America that ever was and is. They did the fight sequences properly. Like, you could see they practiced. Here, if you're not familiar with it, apparently they reshot the majority of this film like 30 times. You can tell the scenes of reshoot versus original. It's embarrassing, and I'm using that word a lot. I'm using a lot of words similar, a lot of broken record moments, because I'm seriously just like, damn. I clearly was going into this movie knowing it was going to be dead on arrival. I was even more right and correct than I've ever been before, even to a point now where I look at this and go, like I said in the beginning of this video, I said, this isn't even like funny anymore, or even like satire to just talk shit all over this film. This is now like, you need to seek help, Marvel, because if you continue down this road of just absolute dog shit writing and character development and the continuation of an MCU that has been dead for years now, you are only going to continue to not only lose billions of dollars, you are going to continue the most important thing of all, and that is us, the fans, the fan base, everything in between, because I promise you, I can promise you, with movies like this, if you keep going, nobody is even going to try even to attempt to rewatch this stuff later down the road. And what I mean by that is, if you were to stop Marvel right now, the MCU, put it in a vault, come back to it in 3 to 5 years, even then, I doubt very, very much you would get 50% of your fan base back, because you have done that amount of damage, and this movie only furthers that damage to a point where it's embarrassing. And I've said that 50 times now, but it's an atrocity to the fans, to the story, to the characters. But look at Anthony Mackie alone. The dude doesn't even think America is involved with Captain America.
For me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term, you know, America should be one of those representations.
What? What the fuck?
And of course, he went on damage control after that because he probably got a call from Disney execs saying, hey, if you don't correct this, you're going to lose out on millions upon millions of dollars. But we all know that Mackie probably is not the biggest fan of America.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Again, that's for a different time, different take. So obviously the movie comes to a conclusion where we get the ultimate fight between Falcon, aka Captain America, and the Red Hulk.
Whoop-de-doo, Basil.
Ross has been mind-fucked to the point of like, oh god, I'm gonna become him, I'm gonna be the Red Hulk. Bleh. And it is truly, like I've said 1,000 times, broken record, spot of nerd. It's gotta be one of the worst sequences from a fight between two of the most amazing comic book characters that have ever existed. And yes, I do mean this. The Falcon is an amazing character. Anthony Mackie is not Captain America. He is the Falcon. And quite frankly, as I've said before, and I'm not afraid to say this out loud, he cannot hold a full feature-length film like this. He does not have that character, that passion, that drive. Put him in a Disney Plus series, sure. This is just something he doesn't have the strength to do. And I'm not saying that as a person, I'm saying that as a fictional character. He does not have the ability to bring it to the big screen. You should have let Cap go, or you should have let Bucky do it, and everybody on the planet knows, regardless of how you feel, you know I'm right. I'm just saying the quiet part out loud. Obviously, you get this fight sequence, which is just all of 30 fucking seconds, because God forbid you give us a fight sequence that's more than 20 seconds in this movie. 99% of it is just talking to each other. Obviously, the Hulk killed him at least 5 times during this battle, but he's obviously just got a few scratches on his eyebrows. Cap goes, just remember your daughter. Your daughter still loves you and still needs you. And of course, the Red Hulk goes back to a very skinny, old-looking Harrison Ford. It's so... I can't... There's so much more I would love to say, and I would love to really dog all over this film, but I'm getting really long on this video, and I'm gonna wrap it up here. I will simply just finalize it with this: Marvel, you're done. This is beyond pathetic and sad. This is just like, damn. This is, you should seek some help, because if you keep going like this, if I was somebody in this MCU, either actor or writer or producer or whatever it is, I would be looking for an exit ASAP. And I'll leave you guys with that. I really, really will. If you made it this far, I super duper in the pooper appreciate it. I really, really do. Like I say, please let me know your thoughts in the comments, if you care or not, or whatever it is in between. But seriously, do not go and watch Captain America Brave New World. Please, if there's, like, I've said this before, and I'll probably say this a million times in the future, there are some things you should never see and never watch and never waste your time with. This is gonna be one of the top 3 easily to never ever even bother with, because I am doing you one of the greatest gifts that God could ever bestow upon you. Please do not go and see it. But until then, until our next amazing episode, because you know these are amazing and you love me. Look at this face. You know you love it. Until next time, folks, we will see you guys in the next episode. Laters, y'all. I guess as a end credit scene, I could give you a little bit of a even extra spoiler. Yes, there is an end credit scene in this movie, Captain America 4, and if, you know, it's very vague of what they're talking about, but let's just say this. If what they do in the end credit scene is what they're going to be setting up for Avengers Secret Wars and beyond, if you thought the multiverse was bad now, you haven't seen anything yet. And I really mean that in a very negative, holy crap, dear God, may God have mercy on Marvel Studios' soul, because if they go the route that I think they're going, damn, we are all just, it might come to a point where the MCU just might be actually hated versus loved. And what I mean by that is pre-Endgame, because it just, at the end of the day, when you start incorporating even more bullshit, even more crap to this story, to this universe, at the end of the day, If you really want to lose your fans and the people that love and have passion and love towards all of these stories and characters, this is the way to do it. I really, really mean that. And Marvel is this close. Albeit they are officially dead, they are this close to just losing everyone. And may God, I pray to God that that doesn't happen. Just stop, Marvel. Stop.